ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
And we're back like we never left. You are watching Dynamics on the Hardwood here with Live Zone and Denzel. Oh, this way. Denzel. Denzel, how you doing today, bud?
We're doing good, man. Keeping track of March Madness and the chaos that consumes everyone's bracket and how everyone throws them in the shredders after day one. You know how it goes. But other than that, we're doing great, man.
I love it. I love to hear it. Yeah, as you heard from Denzel, we're keeping up with March Madness, so we're going to get right into it. We're going to head over and start talking about March Madness. And Denzel, I'm going to leave it with you at first. Who do you think is going to have the best chance to make a Cinderella run in this year's March Madness?
Man, there's a lot of good teams out there in the bracket. For me, there's a couple teams that I've been eyeballing that could make a deep postseason run here in the tournament. Obviously, for me, one of them is I mentioned Drake, but Drake's going to have a tough matchup in the round of 32 against Texas Tech. So we'll see if that plays out. They know how to win, coming in with the longest winning streak in the NCAA tournament, 15, 16 game winning streak coming in the tournament. You also have Gonzaga. Gonzaga is very sneaky. I believe that they could upset Houston in the second round if they meet up against them in the second round here. And my other pick was Liberty, the 12 seed out of I think it's out of the Duke side of the bracket that they play Oregon today. A lot of people are picking them to upset some teams and go deep into the tournament. But if I was to pick one, I'm on Gonzaga. I think Gonzaga really has a big time opportunity to really make some noise, especially beating Houston. But a lot of people think that Houston, this is the best team that Coach Simpson has had since he's been there coaching in Houston. But we can never count on Gonzaga. Yes, they're not in the greatest of. For years, they were never in the greatest of conferences, but they always have a team that goes deep into the tournament every year. And I believe that they can make some noise against Houston in the second round.
Yeah, so no, are you sure that they're in the second round against Houston? I'm pretty sure that they're in Duke's bracket.
No, Gonzaga is up against Houston in that side of the bracket. I have the bracket pulled up here in the Midwest bracket. Yeah, Gonzaga beat Georgia last night. Houston beat the 16th seed yesterday. So they're meeting in the second round tomorrow at 8:40 p.m. So Gonzaga and Houston will play against each other for a spot in the Sweet 16.
Oh man, that changes a lot for me. I thought that they were in Duke's bracket.
No,
High key.
the 8 and the 9 seeds that are in Duke's bracket, it was the first game today, which was Mississippi State against Baylor. Baylor prevailed 75-72 in the first game today.
You're so right. You're so right. You're so right. All right. All right. All right. So that changes a lot for me. Listen, I love Gonzaga. I think that Gonzaga can do a lot of damage here. In one of my brackets, they are actually my winners. So I do like that pick. I'm also looking at Creighton. Creighton is the ninth seed. They were there last year. They lost, I think, 2 or 3 players from the team, but they're still just as good as what they were last year. And honestly, now that they have a little bit of tournament experience, I would say that they're going to be a hard team to beat in this March Madness as well. I know they go against Auburn next round, which we'll get into Auburn in a second here. But yeah, no, I'm looking at that as also an upset. I'm also I like how you put Liberty out there.
Mm-hmm.
Liberty is definitely one of the teams that is scarier on the back end of the March Madness tournament. But the other teams that I'm looking at, I like how you said Drake. I think Drake has a huge chance to wreck a lot of people's brackets, because if you look at Drake, they're going against teams like Florida, or they're going against teams like St. John's. And honestly, I think that this team, it could mess up probably 95% of the people's brackets out there, because 95% I would say has St. John's or Florida in the Final Four. So I would say that as well. But the team that I'm looking at the most to make some people's brackets misfire is Michigan, the number 5 seed, beating UC San Diego, now
Mm-hmm.
going against Texas A&M in the second round. I'm really looking at them to really make an impact against guys like Auburn, or against guys like if they meet Duke, or if they meet Houston, or if they meet Florida or St. John's. I'm really looking at Michigan as, hey, this team is ready to go. This team is very good on the offensive run and very good on the defense as well. But I think that they probably have the worst third round if they make it, because they have to either go against Auburn or Creighton. And like I said, I think that those are two of my favorites on that side of the bracket.
Oh yeah, I like your pick with Michigan. Michigan's got 2 7-footers, and you kind of seen it yesterday with their matchup against UC San Diego, where they just kept going on the interior with these guys, and then they dominated the glass against UC San Diego. Like, UC San Diego couldn't do anything on the glass in that game yesterday. UC San Diego made it a game late. I think Michigan kind of took their foot off the gas pedal just a little bit in the second half.
Yeah.
And UC San Diego made it a game late, and Michigan ended up surviving. But they got 2 7-footers there. Creighton, they rely on their 7-footer, Ryan Kalkbrenner. And I mean, Kalkbrenner didn't have like a crazy great game yesterday. He had 14.6 rebounds yesterday. But you have Steve Ashworth. You have I think it's Jamia Neal, excuse me, who had 29 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 assists yesterday for Creighton. So Creighton is definitely a team. And you saw it yesterday. When Creighton lights it up from 3, man, they could beat anybody in the country.
Yep.
They have some smooth shooters on that team, and they could beat anybody. And especially, I'm looking forward to that matchup tomorrow. Creighton and Auburn in the second round there, 7:10 p.m. That's going to be a fantastic game to watch tomorrow. I think Auburn is I just think Auburn is a little bit overrated. I think, in my personal opinion,
Really?
um, I do. They have the talent. Don't get me wrong, to make it to the Final Four, but part of me feels like they're a little bit overrated. They're a little bit overrated. Like, they lost in the SEC tournament, and they're still the number 1 overall seed. Not that it gets Duke and Florida, but to me, the most complete team in this tournament is Florida. They have the guards, they have the big men. They have the most complete team, and they have a bench that comes off and gives them a spark. And so, I mean, obviously, I'm like, spoiler alert for those who are watching. Florida is my national champion. They've just been that good all season long. They won the SEC. Like, they've been just that good all season long. Even though, you know, I don't know what your thoughts are on this. You know, I understand that I've made mention of this. North Carolina, you know, there's been a lot of turmoil and a lot of speculation into why they made the tournament when they're only 1-12 against quad one opponents. For those at home who don't know what a quad one opponent is if you're facing a team ranked in the top 30 at home, or the top 50 in neutral site games, or the top 75 in away games. If you beat a team that is in those rankings, that's considered a quad one victory. They're 1-12 in quad one victories. Yes, we know North Carolina obliterated the San Diego State in the first four game, 95-68. They are a team that can run and gun. They can put points up in a hurry, like in Alabama. Alabama was like second in the nation in scoring, and North Carolina's right there in the top 20 in the nation in scoring. But there was a lack of a resume, and there's been a lot of speculation to they should have been left out of the tournament based off of the resume. 1-12 against top-ranked opponents, that's a very difficult thing to overcome to make the tournament. Like the teams that were left out, for example, West Virginia is a perfect example. They were 6-10 in quad one victories. Ohio State 6-11. These teams are in the NIT, when a lot of people think those two teams in particular should have been favored over North Carolina to make the field of 68.
Yes. Yep.
And yes, the biggest thing that comes with this is Carolina's athletic director chairs the selection committee that selected the 68 teams. And he, quote unquote, says, I have nothing to do with that decision. And obviously there's got to be some particular reason why they picked North Carolina in the field of 68 over these other good teams that should have been favored to make the tournament rather than them. But the biggest thing with North Carolina in today's matchup, they play against Ole Miss. More than 60% of bets, not just the bets, but 60% of bets and dollars are on North Carolina's money line and spread today, which is an outrageous number to think about. When they made the field of 68, everyone's like, this team shouldn't be in it. And then their dominant victory over San Diego State. By the way, for those who don't know, San Diego State is one of the top 20 defenses in the country. And so when you have a narrative like that, they shouldn't have made the tournament, then they dominate in the first four games, and now they're favored. They were underdogs at the beginning. When the line opened between them and Ole Miss, they were underdogs by 1.5, 2-point spread. Now they're favored by 1.5. And a lot of people are on North Carolina. Could we see North Carolina make a tournament run and surprise people here in the tournament?
Listen, I'm gonna be the one that shuts that down right away. I do not. I don't think that. Listen, I am the biggest North Carolina fan that you will see on ECSI. I'm not too high on the Duke, even though I do like some Duke players. I'm not too high on the Michigan, even though I do like Michigan this year and what they're doing. I'm a UNC fan when it comes down to it. But the thing is that UNC just hasn't shown me what they have shown me in the early 2000s or 90s or whatever. So for that reason, I can't see them making a run. I think that they have a chance to, just like any single lower seed has a chance to. I can't get down with it. I can't see UNC making a run. As much as what they're doing is impressive and it's March Madness time and anything can happen, I can't. I think personally they're gonna lose to Ole Miss, in my own opinion.
I'm going to be honest too. Like, I do have Ole Miss beating North Carolina here in this first round game.
Yeah.
I do have Ole Miss winning. Yes, there's some, obviously, what's making just one official bracket when you can make multiple brackets? Like, there's some brackets that I have North Carolina winning and maybe upsetting and shutting up the naysayers in this matchup. But it's hard to overlook being 1-12 against top opponents. Um, Out of the teams that made the field of 68, they're 1-12 against those opponents. I can't find any reasonable way to back them up, especially playing up against an Ole Miss team that's in pretty much arguably the most difficult conference to play in, and that is the SEC.
Yeah.
But I mean, I mean, outside of the North Carolina dilemma, I mean, I don't in my brackets, I really don't have anything big outside of Colorado State beating Memphis, Penny Hardaway's Memphis Tigers there. Currently, this is live as we speak. Colorado State's up 6 with 11:30 to play in the second half. Plenty of time to play in that ball game, but a lot of people played Colorado State in this played them to beat Memphis in the tournament. They were favored by 2.5 points. The opening line was like 2.5 points against Memphis, and I'm like, man, like I mean, is Memphis really not that competitive against Colorado State? But I try to figure it out sometimes. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, no, listen, I was for the Memphis. I picked Memphis in my brackets, so I don't understand why people were like, "Hey, Memphis, they're really not about it." But I don't know. What for me, I personally picked Memphis in literally every single one of my brackets to win this game. So, I guess I'm one of the few. I guess I don't know, but we're gonna head over now into some real talk. We heard about the Cinderella teams and the Cinderella runs in March Madness. We're now going to bring to you the next topic in dynamics of the hardwood this week, and that is, who do you think is going to win March Madness? Who's going to be in your Final Four? And who do you think has the best chance to win it all?
All right, well, here we go. The creme de la creme, as we talk about here. My Final Four coming out of the East region, I have Duke. To me, they're the second most complete team in the nation behind Florida. On the other side of the bracket, the team that they'll be facing up against in the Final Four, I have the 2 seed Tennessee coming out of the Midwest side of the bracket to face them in the Final Four. I think I don't want to call Tennessee underrated, but a lot of people are high on Houston. But Houston, unfortunately, in the past has had a bad history of losing early in the tournament. And yes, Tennessee is coming off of what was it last year, an Elite Eight with Dalton Connect and those guys in that team. They have they're one of the top defenses in the country under head coach Rick Barnes. If they play up against 2 seed Houston, I think Tennessee's got more firepower offensively than Houston does. So I have Duke, Tennessee on that side of the bracket in the Final Four. And then coming out of the South region, I have Michigan State. Tom Izzo and the Michigan State Spartans there. They look, I mean, Tom Izzo's turned back the clock here. This team has been dominant all season long, and it's looking like one of those old Michigan State teams that people don't really have on the radar, and then they show up to an Elite Eight or a Final Four, and people are like, oh, yeah, that's right, Tom Izzo and the Michigan State Spartans there. We forgot about them. So I got Michigan State coming out of the South region, and then they will be facing up against Florida. So I have Florida, Michigan State, Duke, Tennessee. I got Florida and Duke meeting in the national title game, and I'm picking Florida. I'm picking the most complete team in the tournament, and that is Florida. I love Cooper Flag. For those who don't know me, I am a Duke fan. Like, I got Duke hats, sweatshirts. I'm a Duke fan. I'm a diehard fan since the 2000s. Yes, I know there's a big hater nation for Duke. Thank you, Christian Leitner, for all of that. Thank you.
I'm part of it.
Yeah,
I'm part of it.
So it's like, as much as I want to pick Duke, I have to go with my gut feeling, and that's Florida. I think Florida's the better team. They have a little bit more experience than Duke does. Duke's got a lot of young players. So I have Florida winning the national title.
All right. I mean, hey, listen, I understand why you picked who you picked for your final two and everything like that. I understand why you picked for your final four. But hey, I'm going to give you guys what you all want to hear. I'm going to give you guys the crazy bracket. So this is like the segment that I have. So in my craziest bracket, I'm not going to give you that one, but I do have Gonzaga winning. That one's out of pocket crazy. But some teams that I do want to mention before we get into my final four, I do want to mention UCLA. I do want to mention Gonzaga. I do want to mention Auburn, and I do want to mention Duke. I think both of the best players in the NCAA right now are not going to make it to the Final Four, and that is Cooper Flag, and then number two is Johnny Broom on Auburn. I think that those two are the most complete guys in NCAA right now. I think both of them are going to be stars in the NBA, but I just can't see them making it to the Final Four. I'm going to get into it. So number one, I do have Houston. Houston, listen, after I saw what they did to people all year and everything like that, because they've been on my radar since the beginning, I could not pass them up in my Final Four. You talk about most complete teams. I think that this team is more complete than Florida is right now, and it's going under the radar because they're such a heavy prospect and people are picking them in all these games. I think that Houston is the most dangerous team for the number one seeds or number two seeds or top three seeds, whatever you want to call it, in the NCAA right now. I think out of all of them, I think Houston is the craziest pick. But I think that Houston is the safest pick as well out of all four of the one seeds. So that's just me. So I have Houston coming out of their bracket. I then turn to the Duke side of bracket, and I picked Wisconsin, the number three seed. I think that they are really good, high tempo, has good defense. They can get rebounds. It's going to be hard to beat them, especially with a Duke team that is not, I wouldn't say not horrible, but like they're not at their best right now because Cooper Flag is definitely not 100%, and that's the only reason why I don't have Duke in the Final Four. So I have Houston versus Wisconsin, and then after that, on the other side of the bracket, I do have St. John's coming out against Florida. I think that St. John's will make it in the bracket. I think that they'll make it to the Final Four. But I'm going to get into why I don't think that they're going to make it past the Final Four because I have Creighton. Creighton, the number 9 seed. I think that they're going to beat Auburn. They're going to go on a hot streak run. And I think that they're going to be hard to stop. They got a lot of shooters. They got a lot of inside presence, and they're unselfish. That's the number one thing that I've seen with Creighton this season is that they're very unselfish. They don't care who scores as long as they get the best shot up, and that's very important in March Madness. So, being from what I told you already, I have Creighton going against surprise Houston in the final two, where I have Houston winning. I think that Houston is going to be the team to beat. I think that they're going to be the team to take it all this year. But, you know, I do think that if there's going to be a team to stop them, if there is going to be a team to stop them, it will be Gonzaga. And if Gonzaga beats Houston, I have Gonzaga winning it all as well.
Ooh. Now,
You there?
yeah. No, I'm here. Oh, I'm here, man.
All right.
My question to you is, and you could ask me the same question back. Out of the final four that you have, which one of those teams do you which one of those teams is most likely not to make the final four? Out of your four teams that you have, like which one do you think is not going to make the final four?
I think it's Wisconsin. I think that the only way that we don't see Wisconsin make it is if Duke prevails and if Cooper Flag does his thing, even though he's injured. If Cooper Flag does his thing, then I don't think that there's a team that's going to beat Duke in the NCAA bracket. I think that Cooper Flag is the best player in NCAA basketball right now. But the only reason why I don't have Duke winning it all is because Cooper Flag is not at 100%.
Yeah,
How about you?
I absolutely agree with you, and that's why I hesitated on Duke winning the whole thing, because if he was 100% and he didn't roll his ankle, I think a lot more brackets would have Duke winning the whole thing. Now, I will say this: ESPN's tournament challenge, more than 25% of the brackets have Duke winning the whole thing. And then
Yeah.
I think second is Florida at like 21% or something like that. And then it goes Auburn and down the list. But even with an injured Cooper Flag, people still think Duke is going to win the whole thing. And yes, granted, they could win the whole thing, but that's why you play the games. That's why you do the tournament, because you just never know. The one night you're off is the one time you have a double-digit seed, or you have a Creighton,
Yep.
or you have a McNeese. A
Yep.
lot of people were on McNeese yesterday beating Clemson. Of course, I'm one of the idiots that had Clemson go into the Sweet 16, and McNeese
No.
had a 22-point lead with 7 minutes left, and I was like, well, I'm an idiot now, like looking like it, so it's just. That's what's so fun about doing this bracket every year. This is the best time of year in the sports world, is March Madness. And on top of all of that, we have this, and then I think there's like a 9-10 game slate in the NBA today too. So it's like, it's a very busy day in sports. But I can't, me personally, I can't get enough of March Madness. I wish we had this way more often than once a year.
Yeah, me and you both. It is a busy time to be a basketball fan in both college and pro basketball. But we're going to break it down for you. We're going to head over to the NBA side of things. But before we head into it, we have an ad from our guys at Atlanta Seafood and Steak. So make sure you, as always, stay tuned for more.
Welcome to good food. At Atlanta Steaks and Seafood, you'll find the highest quality meats from a variety of delicious cuts. Tomahawks, salmon fillets, ribeyes, and plenty more to choose from. With an easy-to-use, mobile-friendly website, selecting your pick of meat is made quick and easy. And don't forget, worrying about your dinner is a thing of the past. Check out some of the amazing subscription packages that Atlanta Steaks and Seafood has to offer. Fresh steak and seafood straight to your door. Order online at atlantasteaksandseafood.com.
And welcome back. As always, we are here giving you all the basketball news here on Dynamics on the Hardwood. We're going to head over into some crazy NBA topics. We foreshadowed this last week. If you were listening, you know what we're going to be getting into here. We're going to be talking about Nico Harrison and what we think the Mavericks should do. Should he be fired? Is he safe in Mavericks books? What can we look forward to from Nico Harrison? Denzel, I'm going to let you start because you have some crazy talks about this one, so I'm going to get into it as you're going.
Yeah, you might not get the mic back. I'm just warning you right now. You might not get it back on this topic. This is a topic that I think has boggled the minds of a lot of NBA fans, especially with the arguably the craziest trade of all time, the Doncic Anthony Davis trade. But before we get into talking about that, we need to go over some background stuff with Nico Harrison. He was appointed the GM and the president of basketball operations in 2021, for starters. In those 3 years, They've been to the 2 Western Conference Finals, and of course, they went to the NBA Finals last year. Obviously, ultimately losing to your boys, Boston Celtics. Just got to put a cameo in there for that. But so obviously, with the success that's happened in Dallas, this ultimately led to Harrison getting a multi-year contract extension with the Dallas Mavericks as the GM and the president of basketball operations. Now, with that being said, in 2023, Nico Harrison fired former director, player of health and performance, Casey Smith. He also fired their strength coach, and he fired their manual therapist after the 2024 season. So Luka's response to this whole thing, this is where things start getting dicey and fishy. Luka goes, "Oh, they got rid of everyone I like." And Luka loved training with these people, but this ultimately leads into the biggest issue with his conditioning and the ultimate reason why they traded him away. And so the biggest concern with all of this is it ends up leading to Luka Doncic hiring his own personal staff, which increases frustrations in the Mavericks organization. Now, at the end of the 2020 season, Luka Doncic does talk about, hey, I need to get back. I need to get right. Health-wise, need to get my weight down, et cetera, need to get conditioned right. After the 2021 season, he says the same exact thing. After the 2022 season, he says it again. So there's a reoccurring theme here, and it has not bode well with ownership and management up there in the Dallas organization. With that being said, now it ultimately leads to the ultimatum, which is the worst trade in NBA history, as people dub it. Luka for Anthony Davis. Yes, the concerns with Luka's conditioning, but I have a hard time with this. I have a hard time with the whole thing with Luka's conditioning because last year Luka played 70 out of 82 games.
110%.
Yeah, he played 70 out of 82 games. And he was hobbling for most of the season. He had that calf injury late in the season, and it lingered all throughout the playoffs. And he still found a way to lead the Dallas Mavericks to the NBA Finals. They played 22 games in the postseason. He averages 29, 9.5 rebounds, 8.1 assists per game. I mean, almost walking triple-double stats. We know all about the infamous shot against Rudy Gobert in that series against Minnesota. We know all about he's as advertised. He's blockbuster. And so the other side of this is he's played 61 games in every season he's been in the league except this year. This year he's only played in about 38 games. Obviously, he's been hurt a little bit, ankle and the knee. I think some of that is still a residual effect of last season and him being hurt and hobbling all season. They list him at 230 pounds, but some people in the Dallas organization said there were times where his weight was at 250, 260. Now, I don't know how true that is, but if you look at the last 4 seasons that they list Luka's listed at 230 pounds. And so with that being said, you have that whole issue there with conditioning. There's been speculative stuff that the Dallas Mavericks, yes, if Mark Cuban was the owner, he's not getting rid of, not getting rid of Luka Doncic, your franchise player. This guy's just turned 26 years old. This guy's nearly averaging a triple-double. And there's even been talks that Mark Cuban said to the Mavericks governor there, Dew Point, and Nico Harrison, don't go through with this trade. This is a catastrophic trade. You're ruining your franchise. Yep. And I struggle with Nico Harrison's side of this a little bit because Nico Harrison goes, "Oh, our time to win is now." You just traded away your now. You know what I'm saying? And you get Anthony Davis. I'm not discrediting anything Anthony Davis has done. Anthony Davis
I am.
Yes, I mean, he's never, listen, they say the best ability is availability, and Doncic has been way more available than Anthony Davis over the past. I'll leave it to the last 5 seasons since Luka's been in. Since Luka's been in the NBA, Luka's been way more available than Anthony Davis. But case in point, we have to remember the trades, and me and you talked about this. We have to remember the trades that Nico Harrison has done leading up to the Luka trade. We're talking about Kristaps Porzingis getting traded away to the Washington Wizards in 2022. We're talking about Jalen Brunson. They let Jalen Brunson walk away for nothing. 4-year, $156 million deal he signs with the New York Knicks. And now he's what? He's probably going to win the award for NBA's Clutch Player of the Year, but we'll see about that. He's hurt right now, and you have to play 65 games in order to qualify for that. Enough said there. They let Derrick Jones Jr. You talk about defense. Oh, we need defensive paralysis players. Look, you let Derrick Jones Jr. go, and now he's on the Clippers with Kawhi and James Harden, and now his defensive talents are being used over there. And we talked about them. For those who were watching the show last week, we mentioned the Clippers. We mentioned the Clippers and what they're capable of. They can make some noise in the NBA postseason. Obviously, Doncic, they traded away Doncic for nothing pretty much. I mean, like, they barely gave up anything to, good for the Lakers. The Lakers, I think, gave up what? A first-round pick in, like, 2029, and that was it? Plus Anthony Davis for Doncic? We could get to that topic later. And then the last one is, right after the Doncic trade, they traded away Quentin Grimes. You reminded me of them trading away Quentin Grimes, who's in Philly, and the dude's balling. He has, 25 or more in the last 6 games? Like, the shooter that got away, So, for me, it's more than just a yes. It's like a HE double hockey sticks yes with like 20 exclamation points. Nico Harrison's out. I'm done. I'm done watching this train wreck. Where are you at with all of this?
All right. So I'm gonna get right into this because this conversation really ticks me off because I think that there should be no question here. Nico Harrison, I'm gonna go way back. You wanna go to just Dallas Mavericks back. Let's go talk about Nike as well. Steph Curry, when he was going for a shoe deal, Nico Harrison was the reason why Nike lost Steph Curry to Under Armour. If that wasn't a foreshadowing of what he was gonna do in Dallas, I don't know what is, because you just lost the best player in this generation of basketball to your competitors, and now your competitors are now more relevant than what he was doing in Nike. It's not even a comparison, all right? Number 2, all right, listen. I'm with you on, hey, the 230, whatever. They just made it to the finals, dude. Like they made it to the finals with a hurt Luka. Like this is brain numbing to me. This shouldn't even be a constant. Talk about win now. They're not even in the play-in right now because of this trade. Whereas if they had Luka, they would be in the play-in, and they would probably be in the top 5, top 6 seeds in the Western Conference. But now you have the LA Lakers, which are now climbing where they're at the number 4 spot. It's crazy to me that we can sit here and say that, Nico Harrison, he's made some mistakes, but he's still doing a good. No, he has been doing a bad job since he's been here. Like you said, he let Jalen Brunson go. That was the number one thing. Everybody and their grandmother was saying that they need to keep Jalen Brunson right next to Luka because those two are going to be the future of the Dallas Mavericks. And then he does not pay Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson ends up going to New York, and then after that, they get Kristaps Porzingis. Okay. Oh, cool. We got a big guy now. We got a guy that's going to be like Dirk. And then after that, the two can't work together, and you trade him to the Washington Wizards? What were you gonna get for Kristaps Porzingis in that type of situation where then Kristaps goes to the opponent that you just lost to in the NBA Finals, and then he craps on the whole team. He is one of the reasons why the Boston Celtics won the NBA Finals, because without Kristaps they couldn't get over the hump. They couldn't get to that next spot where they needed to be. So that's number 2. Then we look at number 3. We look at Derrick Jones Jr. I'm not going to sit here and say that Derrick Jones Jr. is the best talent in the NBA, but he is one hell of a talent to have as a 4th or 5th man on your starting lineup. He's got the hops. He can go and catch lobs, which that's what Luka's doing right now with Jackson Hayes in LA, by the way. And he's good at defense, like you were saying. He can go and get boards. He can go and grab it, and he's unselfish. He doesn't care if he has to score the bucket or if he has to pass to Luka. And then after that, you go out and you get Kyrie Irving. Now, here's the situation, okay? Here's the bad thing about Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving is the most selfish player on the Dallas Mavericks since they've gotten players, since they've gotten Jalen Brunson, since they gotten Luka, since they had Dirk, since they had Kristaps Porzingis. Out of all the stars' names that you brought up, Kyrie Irving is the most selfish player that the Dallas Mavericks have gotten in the last decade. Okay, so that's the reason why Kyrie cannot win a championship without a guy like LeBron James right next to him. He couldn't do it with Kevin Durant in Brooklyn. He could not do it with Kevin Durant and James Harden in Brooklyn. He couldn't do it with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown in Boston. The only time that Kyrie Irving has been relevant in the playoffs is right next to LeBron James. And you don't think that that's a problem? That you think that that's going to win you a championship, is to put 2 ball dominant players right next to each other in Kyrie Irving and Luka? It doesn't work like that. You need unselfish players. Yes, you have a star in Luka, 110%, a star, a stud, blockbuster, the guy in the league that everybody's watching. But then you go and put a selfish player like Kyrie Irving right next to him. It was never going to work to begin with, and Nico knew that. So what did he do? He went and traded one of those ball dominant guys, but he traded the generational talent one, and that's what we're sitting at right now. We're sitting at a guy like Kyrie Irving and a guy like Anthony Davis, who is past their primes, getting older, not at their best productivity in basketball, and they're not going to win anything. They're not even going to, even having Klay Thompson. Look at Klay Thompson. I think he had 5 points last game, 6 points, whatever it was. The team is in shambles, and it's all because of what Nico Harrison has done over the last 4 or 5 years, whatever you want to say it was. Nico Harrison is the reason why the Dallas Mavericks are in the shitters. It is not because of the players. It is not because of Mark Cuban whatsoever. It's because of the team that Nico Harrison thought I could win now with. How we doing sitting at the 11th seed, Nico Harrison? How we doing? It's a no-brainer. He should be fired. Nico Harrison, it's not even a comparison on what he has done. I think there's only one mistake that has been worse than Nico Harrison in the last decade of basketball, and that was the Brooklyn Nets trading for the old big 3 in Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and Jason Terry. I think that is the only decision that was worse than what Nico Harrison has done. The Lakers, all right, I'm going to shout out back a few months ago when this trade first happened. They were saying that Luka and LeBron was not going to work. It looks like they're working pretty fine to me. It looks like they're going into the playoffs with the 4th seed, maybe can clip the 3rd or the 2nd seed from the Nuggets and the Rockets. And then after that, we're going to be looking at, let's see, as of right now, if the playoffs were to start, the 2 seed goes against the 7th seed, it would be, oh, look at that. It is a battle of the LAs. I can't make this stuff up for the Lakers fans. The Lakers fans finessed Nico Harrison, finessed the fans of the Dallas Mavericks, and Nico Harrison shouldn't even be in a conversation to be near the NBA because of what he has done in his career as a general manager or a talent guy or whatever you want to call it. Nico Harrison should be far, far away from the NBA right now.
Oh, there's no second thoughts in my mind about that one. Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right with a lot of the points you made. I still am trying to, and I think a lot of people in America are still trying to grasp why would you trade away a 25-year-old superstar who, in my personal opinion, is top 3 in the world right now in basketball.
There's only 2 reasons that could come down to it, right? We have the story about how, David Stern with the New Orleans Pelicans didn't let Chris Paul go to the LA Lakers, so they traded him to the LA Clippers. The conspiracy theory about how David Stern was pushing talents to bigger name or bigger city and bigger marketplaces. You could have saw that with Nico Harrison in the Dallas Mavericks right now. But I think when it comes down to it, it's just stupidity. It's clear stupidity and not having knowledge on how to build a basketball team and not knowing what you had in a star. Because I don't care if he's overweight. I don't care if he quote unquote doesn't play defense, because when he got traded, he literally had 4 steals and 2 blocks in a game for the LA Lakers. There is no excuse, no anything, no judgment call, no nothing that could have said, yeah, we want to trade Luka Doncic instead of trading Kyrie Irving. We want to trade Luka Doncic instead of keeping him and building a team around him. It just shows why Nico Harrison should not be in charge, and it shows why he didn't have the knowledge of what he had on a Dallas Mavericks team like this, because the Dallas Mavericks, they were set up to be kind of like the 2011 Dallas Mavericks. It is 2011, right? Check me on that. It might be 2013.
Yes.
2011 Dallas Mavericks. They were set up. They had the Dirk and Luka. They had the team around them that was unselfish. The only thing that they needed was they needed to be healthy. And just because they weren't healthy for 1 year and they were in the middle of the pack, we just decide, oh, hey, we're just going to give up on them. It just shows that it's a business at the end of the day. And it shows that they didn't want to win basketball games. They didn't care about the basketball side of things. And it looks like to me that they cared more about, oh, hey, these guys want to build a casino in Dallas. So, come on. Are we here to play basketball, or are we here to be a business? And at the end of the day, they wanted to be a business. They did not want to win championships. And it's showing right now with them at the 11th seed.
Absolutely, because you look to the new ownership group that Mark Cuban sold it to. You have the Las Vegas Sands Casino Company, and it's like, once that sale happened, that $2-3-4 billion sale happened of the Dallas Mavericks, I was like, uh-oh, we got a problem. We got a problem here, because now you're trading it away. Now you're giving the ownership to a group of people that might not have any clue about how to own a sports franchise and market it. Like we saw what Dallas did with Mark Cuban there. Mark Cuban took it from a $220 million franchise, and now it's worth, however the sale was, $3-4 billion, wherever the sale was. And it's like, you see it. Oh, by the way, the Celtics just got sold to a new guy.
Lord, please do not trade Tatum.
Think about it this way.
Do not trade Tatum, please.
Guess what? But the owner, the audience is going to have to forgive me because I forget the owner's name of the Celtics at the moment. But
it's a weird name.
He set up this franchise before it got sold. You win the title in 24. And he says, oh, I'm going to be putting it up for sale after they won the title in 24. And okay, Tatum, Brown, White, Porzingis, Pritchard, all these guys, they're like 6 out of
They're
their
locked.
8
They're
rotation.
locked.
They're locked. 28,
Yep.
29, and 2030. These guys are
Yep.
locked for the next 5 years. Now you set up the new ownership group for success, as well as you getting the $6.1 billion, which I believe is a record for a North American sports team.
It is
right now. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
I think it's the record for sports teams in general right
Yeah,
now.
it's crazy what it was sold for. But then you look at you got this good core group of players. Not, excuse me, let me rephrase. Great core group of players, and you have them all signed on contract extensions for the next 4 or 5 years. You're going to see conference final after conference final, finals after finals, championships upon championships. Hopefully, we see that. Lord willing, with good health, you know what I'm saying? And Boston stays healthy the next 4 or 5 years. We're going to see them in the Eastern Conference Finals, in the finals for the next 5, at least for the next half decade. We're going to see it. And then when trade talks happen, like these guys are going to be with them their whole prime, pretty much. It's like they're set up for success. You got a good coach in Joe Mazzulla, who's got this team buying into the system. And like you said, Porzingis is the difference maker. I swear, if Nico Harrison, we're talking about Porzingis, Brunson, Derek Jones Jr., Doncic, and Grimes. That's starting 5. Imagine if that was a starting 5 in Dallas right now. They're going to you could easily put them there in the top 3 in the Western Conference. They could easily be making the NBA Finals. And who knows? Imagine if Porzingis was on Dallas and not on Boston last year. Dallas is probably winning the chip. There's no doubt in my mind about that. And so I'm done with Nico Harrison, man. I'm done looking at this. Like, Nico Harrison, like, you got to go, brother. Like, it's your time is up. Yes, you've had good success while you've been there, but you've traded it away. I mean, I'm looking at this. I'm looking at 3 all-stars you've traded away since you've been there. And honestly, if Joel Embiid and Paul George don't play next year, Quentin Grimes could be an all-star the way he's scoring the rock right now. Like, he's like the way he's playing.
We'll see.
It's like,
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I struggle with a lot of things that is happening in Dallas right now. And you look at some of the statistics with Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving, since he's been in Dallas, his assists have gone down every year for the last 3 years. His first year in Dallas, he averaged 6 assists. In 2023-24, he averaged 5.2 assists. This year, he's averaging 4.6 assists. Look at Jalen Brunson. No sooner he got traded away from Dallas. When he was in Dallas, his last year in Dallas, he averaged like 4.5 assists a game his last year in Dallas, along with 16 points a game. Yep. Now he's in New York, and he's averaging 6, 7 assists, 8 assists a game, as well as putting up the same scoring numbers as Kyrie Irving.
We can't talk about Kyrie and Jalen Brunson in the same conversation.
No.
I'm not saying that because, like, listen, Kyrie, if you put Cavs, Kyrie, and Jalen Brunson now together, we can talk about it. But because of what we're seeing from Kyrie Irving and how he's going down more and more more each year, listen, I'm gonna say this. I personally think that Jalen Brunson could be better than Kyrie Irving if he wins a championship in New York. I personally think that Jalen Brunson is a dog on the defensive end compared to what Kyrie Irving does on the defensive end. Kyrie Irving's just a flashy talent, where Jalen Brunson is what you want in a basketball point guard.
And I mean, time's gonna tell. Only time will tell. Jalen Brunson is just starting to enter his prime. He's 28 years old. Unfortunately, he's been out the last couple of weeks with an injury, and so. You see it with the Knicks, man. you see how valuable he is to the Knicks. Like,
Yep.
they played pitiful against the Charlotte Hornets. What was that, last night? The Charlotte Hornets killed them.
Yeah.
And LaMelo Ball and Miles Bridges are like, their shoulders are dangling. Like, these guys are hurt.
If Brunson was there, LaMelo would not have had that type of game. I can
Oh,
promise
absolutely.
you. I can promise you.
And yeah, I mean, yes, obviously the roster is more than just one player. Yeah, it's all about that rotation of 1 through 8 or 1 through 10 that is going to be consistent enough to help you compete, not just to contend in the Western Conference or in the East, but to contend for a title and win championships, because it's all about chips, man. And like Nico Harrison's like, oh yeah, the defense wins you championships. I don't disagree with that statement, but what I do like, that trade completely backfired. No sooner that trade happened, first game, Anthony Davis, timber, down goes.
Listen, Anthony Davis had a great first half, and he will have a great few years in Dallas, but he's not going to be the same Anthony Davis that he was in New Orleans. I can guarantee that. As he gets over, he's breaking down more and more and more. And honestly, it was time for the LA Lakers to let him go. But I don't know. I think that Nico got finessed.
Absolutely. And kudos to Rob Pelinka and the GM of the LA Lakers for barely giving up anything to get Luka. And now look what the Lakers done. They set themselves up for the next 10 years.
Yep.
With a star player. Now, I will say this.
Don't forget about Bronny. 17 points last game.
I was going to say, Bronny played great last night.
He did.
Did you see that little crossover against Giannis last night? Dude, that was wild, bro.
Hey, but I'm telling you, he's not going to be as bad as what everybody thinks.
I want to see Bronny James do well, man. I think he has the potential to be a great player in this league. A good solid player. If he's not going to be starting, he could easily be a sixth man coming off the bench and giving you a spark.
I think he could easily be a second guy for Luka in the future. I think he can get there.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, Rob Pelinka, man. Shout out to Rob Pelinka, man, for that trade, man, because he barely spent anything to get him. He traded away reserve players and G League players to get Luka Doncic, and he traded away a 2029 first round pick to go get Luka. And now you're set up for the next 10 years with a star player, and now you just need to get the right horses set around him post LeBron era. And I think they have some pieces. I mean, how many times you hear Doncic to Jackson Hayes in the 15-20 games they play together? It's been constant. The lobs constantly going to Jackson Hayes. He's making Jackson Hayes look like a very good solid big man.
Yeah. Look like an all-star. That's what
he's making him look what really,
Luka
really
does.
well.
That is the Luka effect.
Yeah,
that is the Luka effect. The same way that LeBron has that effect on people like Timothy Mozgov and guys like Tristan Thompson and all the Cavs players that he played with, Mo Williams, Galskis. It is the LeBron. It is the LeBron and Luka effect. Now. Yep. But the only thing that I will say with all of this is there's one thing I don't like, or two things I don't like about the Luka trade. Number one, if you know me, I'm a Celtics fan, so that's number one. And number two is Luka just doesn't look good in the yellow and purple. I don't know if it's just me. I don't think that he looks good in it. I think whenever I think of Luka, I think of blue. I don't think of this yellow and purple thing. But, overall, it's going to be good for the LA Lakers. Nico Harrison should be fired. You heard it here first on Dynamics on the Hardwood for when it happens in a few years, maybe next year, hopefully. And we will be right back because we're also going to catapult into another topic that's going to take a little bit of time. So, but first, we're going to give you a nice commercial from Viva Tequila Seltzer. So if you haven't, check them out. They're pretty good.
Jared, hey, we're going to need you to tone it down with the Summer Friday thing, okay?
What are you talking about?
Well, for one, it's not summer anymore.
Oh, really?
Coconut. Also, who is this?
I'm the caddy.
Oh, he's my intern.
Sorry, intern. I'm his intern.
Yeah, he's doing a great job.
No golfing in the office, okay? Summer Fridays are over. You can keep the Hawaiian shirt, but the rest of this stuff, all right? Are you grilling?
Oh, yeah. Did you want a burger or a hot dog?
No, grilling in the office.
That's a good point. We should take this outside.
No, that don't. You put that right back down.
Yo, it's all in the hips.
Oh, dude, come on, we gotta go. Let's go.
And we are back like we never left. That was the Viva Tequila Seltzers, lemon, grapefruit, watermelon, you name it, they got it. So make sure you go and check it out. We're going to head into the next conversation, the conversation that I'm most hyped about. We're going to be talking about who is the next poster boy for the NBA. Who is the next LeBron? Who is the next Michael Jordan? Who is the next Kobe Bryant? We're here to settle that right now. I'm going to head it over to you, Denzel. Denzel, who are you running with as your next guy in the NBA?
Well, there's a massive list of players that you could consider to be the next poster boy or the next guy to be the face of the NBA. You know, people will say this is biased, but number one on my list is Jason Tatum. There's no ifs, ands, or buts around me picking him. He has all the talent in the world to be that guy. Obviously, we know some of his accolades: 4-time All-NBA, 6-time All-Star. Obviously, the 2023 All-Star MVP, NBA champ last year. Like, he has everything that you want to be the guy. But for me, sometimes his lack of effort and uninterest makes me want to consider other players. And I love Jason Tatum. I think Jason Tatum is phenomenal. But there are times where instead of, and I will say this, he has done so much better over the years. Like, if we talk about them losing the finals to them winning the finals, and even leading into this year, he has been great in terms of passing the ball and getting others involved. 2022, he was averaging just over 4 assists a game. Now he's somewhere in the 6 assists per game mark there. He's right at 6 assists per game. So he's really improved on his passing ability, getting others involved, making sure that he's getting everyone out, making others around him better. And so Jason Tatum is number one on my list for sure. He should be the next face of the NBA. And he's 27, just entering that prime phase. And like we said, the next 5 years, he's with Boston. And so it's like, like we said earlier, the good Lord willing, he's still in Boston. But things, unfortunately, this, as much as this is a very fun sport to watch, we did mention the side of it being a business with the whole Nico Harrison thing. But Jason Tatum's number one on my list. There are other guys. I tried to stick, for those who are listening, I tried to stick to 26, 27 years old and younger, guys who haven't entered that prime phase of their career yet, which is roughly between 28 and 32 years old is pretty much the prime ages in the NBA. But I'm also on this list is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, currently 26 years old, 2-time All-NBA, 3-time All-Star, currently leading the NBA in scoring. We talked about the MVP conversation. We know what he brings to the table night in and night out. He's got a aura about him that screams professionalism, that screams, and like you see the post-game shows with Oklahoma City, they all do it together. You know what I'm saying? They're all a cohesive one unit. They all do things together. And I think Shai's up there on the list for me. There are other guys, Luca. Just just throwing that name. Just pure coincidence. We're throwing that name back out there.
Yeah.
Luka, we're just gonna throw Luca back. Just pure coincidence there. Luca, we know what he's capable of. He's been an all-star pretty much every year he's been in the league. Western Conference MVP, won the scoring title last year. He, as the list goes on and on with Luca. Other guys on the list, Paolo Banchero. The only issue I have, I don't have an issue with Paolo. I'm moving on from Paolo, but Paolo's what, second or third his third season in the league. Obviously he had that big oblique strain early in the year, so he looks to be getting back to form and what we're accustomed to seeing from him on a nightly basis. Zion Williamson, we know what Zion Williamson's capable of. His hustle, his tenacity for the ball, averaging over 25 points a game. My biggest thing with Zion Williamson is he looks like he's lost a little bit of weight. Like you could tell, there was a report that came out yesterday or a couple days ago that he was listed at 260 pounds. He weighed in at 260 because when he first entered the league, he was 284 pounds, which at the time was the third highest weight in the NBA at the time. But Zion Williamson, if he could stay healthy, he's definitely on the list of players that could be the next face of the NBA. I had Ja Morant on the list, but I am completely rescinding putting Ja on the list. We know about the suspension, and we gotta do the whole gun incident, suspension. People still arguing about the 25-game suspension he got from Commissioner Adam Silver in the front office there. But he's as good as advertised. He is someone who you would want to watch on a nightly basis. He is electric. He's shifty, he's quick, he's fast, but the issue that I have with him right now, he's not on a good trend right now. He's only played in 52 games out of 152 games.
Yeah.
Eligible the last two, this season and last season. Obviously, yes, suspension. He had the suspension. He came back, and in that 9th or 10th game back from injury, I think he broke his hand or something like that, and he ended up being out the rest of the 24 season.
Mm-hmm.
And this season, he's missed. Memphis has played 70 games, and I believe he's only played in 35, 40, 45 games so far this year. So this is where I'm trying to reconsider Ja Morant. Yes, all these guys that I'm listing, these guys I believe are going to be they're going to be perennial all-stars throughout their career. They're going to be, time and time again, we're going to see them as all-stars down the road, 5-10 years down the road. But the biggest issue I have with the NBA right now is you're seeing a lack of consistency, and you have the whole Kawhi Leonard thing in the Clippers and the load management and all that in the Spurs and the Clippers with the load management. I have a massive issue with that because if we go back to the 2003-2004 season, the average all-star in those years was playing on average 74, 75 games a season. Now, we fast forward it to 2023-2024 season. The average all-star is playing 64 games per season.
Yep.
10 to 15% of games they're not playing because of this whole load management. And I get it. If you're locked into the 1 seed, for example, the Cleveland Cavaliers, they're locked into the 1 seed. I get that you're not going to want to play your star players. You're trying to keep them healthy for the playoffs. I don't disagree with that, but it goes against the Michael, I just happen to be wearing the Jordan shirt here. The Jordan mentality is to give your best every night, and people come and pay money to watch you play, and you're not available to play. And because you want to take, I get from the management perspective, a business perspective, you want to keep your players healthy for playoffs. I get that. But, you're doing a disservice to the fans by resting these guys when people are paying You know how much it goes. You know how much it costs to go to a Celtics game, CJ. It's
Yep.
like you want to go watch these star players play, and then they're not available to play because of some load management crap. Because you want to rest them for the playoffs, and it's just like that's what baffles me a little bit. But getting back to the point, as I jump off my soapbox, other guys I listed: Anthony Edwards from the Minnesota Timberwolves, and God willing, his health improves rapidly here because he's the unicorn 2.0, Victor Wembanyama. I want to see more of this guy. This guy is, I repeat myself, as good as advertised as anyone else on this list. A lot of people pay money to go watch these guys play, and that was something me and a few buddies wanted to do this year. Was wait for the Spurs game here in Boston and go
Yep.
watch him play against the Celtics at TD Garden. I wanted to go watch that game. But unfortunately, the whole blood clot thing happened before that game happened. And so it's unfortunate with his health issues. We hope and pray for a speedy recovery. But those are the guys on my list in terms of the next poster boy. But it starts with Tatum. Tatum is number one on my list. So that's who I pick.
Now, all right. I like the pick, but I don't know if I necessarily agree with the pick. We talk about how the next face of the league has to be young and everything like that. I think that maybe we're not even thinking about the people coming in to the NBA. Now, listen, if the Celtics win this year, I will say that Jason Tatum has the best chance to be that next guy, especially with the hatred that he has from coming off his first championship win. So I understand the Jason Tatum effect and why you're picking Jason Tatum to be the next guy, but I'm going to have him at number 2, okay? I have Jason Tatum as the number 2 guy in the NBA, and the reason why is I don't think that the Celtics are going to win the NBA Finals this year. I don't. And the thing with Michael Jordan, the thing with Kobe Bryant, the thing with LeBron is they dominated their side of the conference every year that they played in it. LeBron dominated the Eastern Conference, whether it was in the playoffs or it wasn't. Kobe Bryant, even when he didn't have the best team in the world, he dominated by scoring as many points as he could, where he didn't score under 40 against any of the teams in the year of 2004 or 2005 after Shaq went to Miami. Okay? Number 3, Jordan, I mean, it's self-explanatory, the greatest of all time, 6 championships, 2 3-peats. He just didn't dominate the Eastern Conference. He dominated the whole damn league. All right? If the Celtics don't win this year and another team gets there, why are we looking at Jason Tatum as the guy to dominate the Eastern Conference? Why are we looking at Jason Tatum as the guy to dominate the NBA when he can't get more than one championship at a time? So if everybody's gonna eat, then he can't be considered the greatest in this generation. That's why I'm gonna put it at. So that's the reason why Jason Tatum is my number 2. If they win the championship this year and they win another one and they maybe get a 3-peat out of it, I will agree with you. Jason Tatum is that guy. But until we see it happen, I cannot put Jason Tatum there. Now, looking at that, I look at the future, and a few names do pop up. Okay, my number 3 is going to be Victor Wembanyama. The same reason why you said that he's not number 1 on your list is because of the blood clot issue. I'm 110% agreeing with that, and I don't disagree with anything that you were saying about Victor Wembanyama. When it comes to Victor, I think that he is the biggest blockbuster watch talent in the NBA right now if he's on the floor. Okay? So that's my number 3. My number 4, I'm then going to look at Luka. The same reason why I can't put Tatum there, is the same reason why I'm not putting Luka there. I haven't seen Luka win a championship yet, so we can't put him there. But with him being on the Lakers now, he has a much better chance than what he did. My number one, I'm going with a guy that's in the shadows right now because he's not in the NBA yet. I'm going Cooper Flag. I think Cooper Flag is going to catapult us into a new generation of basketball. I think that he is going to be kind of like an Anthony Davis talent where he instantly makes an impact on whatever team that he plays for. The same way he's making the biggest impact on him with Duke right now, and that's the reason why everybody's watching Duke is because they had Cooper Flag on their team. If you didn't have Cooper Flag on that Duke team, you're not watching Duke this year. That's as simple as it gets. So for that reason, I really do think that he has that mentality. I think that he has the winning grit of a basketball player, and I think that we could see Cooper Flag be the next poster boy of the NBA, in my own opinion.
I can't knock you off of that. I mean, what would help him catapult into him being the next poster boy of the NBA is him winning March Madness. That would greatly.
Yeah,
That
but
would be.
not really, because look at Carmelo. Look at Carmelo. Carmelo went into March Madness, won March Madness with Syracuse, came to the NBA, was supposed to be LeBron's biggest competitor. And then after that, we looked, and really the biggest competitor of LeBron James in that draft class is Dwayne Wade, if you actually think about it.
Dwayne Wade. Yeah.
So
We
not
forget about Dwayne Wade and
necessarily.
Marquette. Yeah.
Yeah, not necessarily, because I think that if you have a big star talent that is going to win March Madness, I think it's going to be Johnny Broome in Auburn out of all the big players coming out of this draft class. But I do think that Cooper Flag versus Johnny Broome is going to be one hell of a rivalry in the NBA when they get into the league, in my own opinion. That's another guy that nobody's really talking about is what is Johnny Broome going to do? What is he going to do after he leaves Auburn and he gets catapulted into the NBA? We going to see him take that next leap as well? Because he's another guy that could be on that list.
Yeah, no, Johnny Broome has been really. Let's just be real. He's been the backbone for this Auburn team. Backbone.
Yes.
He's the
110%.
last line of defense on the defensive end, protecting the rim. 18 points, 10 rebounds per game. I like his. He's got a good vision. He's got a nice passing ability. He's averaged 3.1 assists a game for the Auburn Tigers this year. I mean, you're absolutely right. Him or Flag could be one of those two guys that could catapult us into the next. I don't want to. I like calling it we'll call it the post-COVID generation of basketball.
Yeah.
That's probably the best way to put it because you got guys like Tatum, Brown, Giannis. Those guys came before COVID. Now, who's going to be that next group of superstars coming out of COVID, after COVID? Of course, that's how we look at our lives now, pre-COVID and post-COVID now. So it's like,
hey, listen. I'm gonna give you a hot take with Live Zone here on Dynamics on the Hardwood. I think that this draft, is going to be looked at the same way that the draft in what was Jordan's draft? 84.
Yeah.
The same draft as 84. Who are you going to pick? Hakeem or Jordan? Is the same way that I'm looking at it here. Who are you going to pick? Cooper Flag or are you going to pick Johnny Broome? Those are the two names that I'm looking at, and I think that this draft class has the chance to be a generational draft class, the same way that 84 was, the same way that 96 was, the same way that 03 was. I think that we could see that here this year in this draft class.
All right. I know. Everyone talks about Hakeem or Jordan, and then everyone forgets who was picked before Jordan, Sam Bowie. No
Yep.
one, a lot of people forget about Sam Bowie, and his career unfortunately was short lived with a lot of stress fractures in his shin bone there over his career. So a lot of people forget about Sam Bowie there. But yeah, it was either Jordan or Akeem in that draft. But uh, fortunately, the cards went in Chicago's favor there because Houston and Portland were both looking for a big man, even though Houston didn't really need a big man at the time of that draft. You had Ralph
Yep.
Sampson at
Yep.
the time with with that Houston Rockets team,
But they wanted to build the Twin Towers, and
right,
they did.
exactly.
They
We wouldn't be
did.
talking about Twin Towers
Yep.
there in Houston if we didn't have that scenario. But yeah, I always love the what ifs there. Like if it was, what if Jordan went to Portland? You have Jordan and Clyde Drexler on the same team, dude.
Yep.
Like imagine
Yep.
those two guys playing together. Like I can't even imagine that. Like Portland could be sitting there with 6 rings and not Chicago. Like that's how crazy the what ifs of sports is.
Yep.
And that's the big thing with Flag and Broom is these two guys have massive potentials to be superstars in the league. And obviously, with Broom, my biggest thing with Broom right now, I mean, obviously both players are hobbling right now. Like Broom looks like he's like limping the last few
But he's
games
got
there.
that Paulo. He's got that Paulo Banchero build, and
Yeah, he does.
He's
No,
dangerous on the boards.
He absolutely does. Like, and Broom's like, I don't care if I'm like him and Flag, they want to be out there for every game. Like, it's like these guys have a hunger to play basketball and a love to play basketball. And I would love to see this next generation of players, Flag, Broom, even some of the guys, the guys that are in the league now. I would love to see them have that mindset of making sure that people are here to watch us play. Let's go out there and play, no matter if we have the 1 seed locked up. I get from a business standpoint, like, you know, you want to make sure your franchise is set for years and years to come. I totally agree with that. But what I don't agree with is resting them on a night when people, even if it's an opposing fan, is still buying a ticket to your stadium to go watch these guys play.
Yep.
And it's like, that's where I have an issue with the NBA front office, is this whole load management and making sure players are all, healthy for the playoffs. Yes, that's where the real rubber meets the road, because the regular season is just a marathon. When you get to the playoffs, that's where the highest level of competition shows up. And
100%.
if your team is healthy, you have a chance. If your team is fully healthy, you have a chance to compete, and not just at a high level, but maybe do a Denver Nuggets thing and upset the 1 seed Seattle Supersonics with Gary Payton and Sean Kemp. Just don't, in the early 90s, you just don't know what could happen in the NBA. And so I as you would probably say the same exact thing. We wish all the best for these guys coming up in the league, for sure. Like, we all wish everyone good health, no matter how stupid some people are and making dumb off the court decisions and finding a way to get suspended that way. Like, he has nothing to do with the conversation. But you talk about Bobby Portis. I enjoy watching Bobby Portis play, and he gets suspended. You knucklehead, what are you doing? People, and he's a crowd favorite in Milwaukee. Like, the fans love Bobby Portis. And now you get suspended. And I'm not saying, like, there's a level of expectation, especially when the spotlight's always on you, like these guys are in the NBA. And we have to remember, these people are human just as well as we are. They make mistakes just as much as we do. And so it's, I'm sitting here yelling at Bobby Portis, like, come on, man, be better. But at the same time, though, I'm like, man, am I paying attention to what I'm doing? Like, so it's like, so like, that's the reminder I constantly have with me. But it's just like, that's a big topic. There is load management hindering the NBA? Because to me, I think it is, because we're
Oh
talking
yeah,
about viewership and stuff the last 5-10 years. Viewership has gone down massively in the NBA.
tremendously. I don't think that has just to do with load management, though. It also has to do with uh, how all the players are friends with each other, and how everybody is like all a bunch of rainbows and unicorns and everything like that.
Yeah, no,
it's not war out there anymore. It's not
yeah.
competitive. You know what I
Now
mean?
I will say this: there are a couple of there's a couple of guys that are butting heads, and
Yeah.
the first pair that come to mind is the number 1 and number 2 draft pick, going back a few years, Cade
Jalen Green
Cunningham
and Cade
and
Cunningham.
Cunningham. I
Yeah.
love that little beef that these two guys have. Jalen Green's trying to prove that you shouldn't have been the number 1 overall pick, and Cade Cunningham just shows up on the court and plays, man. And this guy, I mean, we've seen it. He's a walking triple double. Like when this guy is on, he is on. He's a walking triple double night in and night out on an ascending Detroit Pistons team. Not saying Houston isn't ascending. Houston is ascending as well.
Second
But
seed.
yeah, it's like, who would you rather shoot the last shot, Jalen Green or Cade Cunningham? My money's on Cade Cunningham. That's just where I'm at with that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love Jalen Green. Jalen Green's electric. He's got immense athleticism. His athleticism, like he jumps through the rafters every time he goes and puts someone up there on a poster. But when it comes down to the clutch moments, I want Cade Cunningham with the ball, because if he gets double teamed, he's going to make the right pass. He's going to find the right guy.
Yep, I agree with you. And Cade Cunningham's another guy that I would also add on that list as well.
Yeah.
If you give him another piece, imagine if we saw Cooper Flag and Cade Cunningham on the same team. Goodness, the league would be in trouble. The league would be in trouble.
Yeah, I agree with that big time, because you see the potential with Cooper Flag, like, and Cooper Flag's what, 6'9", 205. I mean, obviously when he gets to the league, he's gonna build up a little bit more muscle, because your body needs to be ready for an 82 game season,
Yeah.
compared to a 35-40 game college season. And now you're not just playing once, twice a week. Now you're playing, like, the NCAA tournament kind of gives that not a big preview, but you play every other night, and that's what the NBA is. You're practically playing every other night in the
Yep.
NBA. And when Cooper Flag gets to the league, I would love to see him be 215, 220, have a little bit more muscle on him, so he can last the next, he
Of
can
course.
last
Of
throughout the
course.
duration of a season. I know his youth he's gonna have so much energy, but as someone who's a rookie coming into the league, but he's gonna need a little bit more on that frame in order, because now you're with the big boys, no matter how much they
Let's not
cost. Ticky
forget
Tech
about
Crowd.
how small MJ used to be, though, because MJ used to be small.
6'6", 200.
Yep.
6'6", 200 was
That's what I'm
MJ.
saying.
Skinny kid with obviously what people would say, some of the greatest athleticism of all time.
Yes. Yes.
And all we have to do is say thank you to Bill Laimbeer and the bad boys of beating him up, because if he didn't do weight training and do all that stuff to get ready for just Detroit, I mean, I don't know if I'm not saying we're not going to be talking about three-peats, but I don't know if we would have the same story and the same narrative of Jordan if he didn't put the work in and day out to just
Yeah.
overcome just that one team in Detroit.
Yep, yep. Well, you heard it here first. That's who we think is going to be the next poster boy of the NBA. Who do you guys think is going to be the next poster boy, the next guy in the NBA after LeBron retires? Let us know in the comments. I'm sure we will debate it with you as well. That has been all for this week's Dynamics on the Hardwood. Denzel, as always, do you want to give them where they can find you?
Of course. Obviously, you guys can find me on Twitter, formerly known Twitter, X, Deportes Diesel, at Deportes Diesel. I send out daily NBA, and obviously I'm sending out daily March Madness picks. I need to catch up on my March Madness picks, man. We've been so locked in on the NBA here the last hour. I've lost track of where of some of the plays I got going on. But yeah, Twitter, Deportes Diesel is where you can find me.
All right, sounds good. You can find me on all the East Coast sports investors profiles, as well as also finding me on X at Real Live Zone. If you got any questions, I will be able to answer them there. But I hope you all had a good day. I hope that you all had a great time on the show, and make sure, as always, stay tuned.